Marie here, and today we're doing a little updated Scrappy Space store. It has changed a lot since I did my last video about that on this channel. We're in a completely different house. We have kind of integrated it into the family room, so it's open storage, which is why it's not open storage, if that makes sense. Why I have doors on everything, because it's out with everybody. So across the top of my IKEA Calyx, I have my Big Shot, and then I have a bunch of old school Sizzix dies. I prefer the old school ones because they cut so many different materials, including chipboard and felt. But I am transitioning a lot of them into the thinner wafer dies. But for the big original Sizzix dies, I have these Sizzix towers. They're usually turned this way just because the black kind of blends in better. On this end, this is where I keep like my most recently completed layouts until they get put into my album system. So they're here until then. So then the first row, the entire first row is pattern paper and cardstock. I don't know if you have had a chance to see my organizing my pattern paper, but I started that project a long time ago, like a year ago, and I was putting them into these creative memories holders that I have found, and I really like these. I just haven't been able to buy all of them yet that I need, because I need so many. So my system is really in flux, and it has been for like a year. But I put them in these cubes. I love it because it looks messy, but I can shut the door and it doesn't matter. I also like that I have a space that, again, is hidden, where I can kind of keep track of what's stored in here. Since it is in flux, I'm sorry that it keeps focusing in and out. Since it is in flux, I don't have a consistent labeling yet, so I can do this to quickly see what I have. All right, next. Okay, so that one was mostly like my spring and summer. This one is winter and fall and Christmas, Valentine's. All of that's in here. This area is a lot of like kid-related items, just kind of general kid-related activities, birthday stuff. There's a little overflow from the previous one we'll get to in a second. I also have my calendar and my Disney stuff in here, so like month in review type stuff, and then Disney specific. And then this cube is pretty much all of like my solid or tone-on-tone or non-themed pattern papers and cardstock. All right, in the second row, this is my workspace right here. So this row right here is the stuff that I reach for the most. And in the first cube, we have my power strip. My lamps are plugged into there, and then I have some open spots that I can put my heat gun or my silhouette or my phone charger, that kind of thing. I can just plug it in right there. I keep my really bulky twine on rolls in this little container. My regular twine storage we'll see next. These are too big to fit into that system. This is just like a repurposed bath container thing. So like it had shower gels and lotions and stuff in it. And then this is from IKEA as well. It's a little, I think it's like a laptop monitor or some type of stand that's kind of like that. It's for elevating things just a little bit, which is perfect. Just what I need, because I can store more on top, like it's a shelf. And then these boxes that I have here, this is a nail polish brand that I like. And I've kept the boxes that some of the collections came in that I purchased. And then I use them to store different things. That I usually, what I'm storing in here is packaging that I plan on making embellishments with. I have a few videos where I'm creating embellishments, DIY style, and this is where I throw the packaging. This is what the containers look like. See, they hold bottles of nail polish, and then I just rip out that part and store stuff inside. Because I love the finishes. They fit perfect. 3 right here. Perfect. And they're pretty, so they make me happy. All right, we also have my flowers are back in there, and a little jar of the K & Company Proverbs. Those are ancient. My really big acrylic block. And then this blender brush holder that I believe is by Make It by Marco or something like that. I'll leave a description or a link in the description box below. And inside it, there's like a little open area. So I keep my other sizes of blocks, and then I have like an ink edger that I keep in there. And so again, this is where, you know, I'm reaching most often. This is kind of where I keep a lot of my embellishments. Most of my embellishments are in embroidery floss containers. The bulk of them are actually in these art bin containers. I got these for $5 each. I love them. They have rounded bottoms, so they make it really easy to scoop out buttons and bling and little things like that. And then they have removable dividers that you can put wherever you need. So you can adjust the sizes for them. I've got my twine stored that way. I've got my buttons and my flare and my eyelets and my brads, my washi. And then my sequins right now, they're not loose. They're still in little bottles, but they're stored in there as well. Next to these, I have my scoreboard, some large templates, my glass mat. These hold my 12 by 12 border strips or scraps that could become border strips. These hold doilies. It's an old Allie Edwards something or other. And it's just a perfect size for doilies. This cube, this is my most opened cube. It's just right next to where I work, and so I'm always reaching for it. So in here is my tool tote. I have a video where I did the organization on that. And another Make It by Marco product. This is the ATG holder, so it just rests right in there. Very, very handy. This is the giant foam tape that you should not purchase, so I'm not going to recommend it. And then in here is my little wonky homemade ink storage cube, and all the inks are in a disarray because I've still not organized them back into color order from the We Create retreat that I went to in September. But usually they're in rainbow order. And I have 2 primary kinds of ink right now. I've got the Hero Arts Midtone Shadow inks and the Rager dye inks. I don't even know if they make either of those anymore. I haven't been able to find a replacement for like a Ranger ink color that I went out of. It was like the lime green. And so I'm actually going to be replacing it slowly over time with maybe the Stamp Market. I haven't decided yet. But this holder, I just made it out of foam core board. It is not perfect. Like, look at those corners and then that gap full of hot glue. But it works perfect for what I need because it fits perfectly inside the cube. So I can utilize all of that space really easily. And it's just the perfect size for me to slide my tool tote back in. Everything just fits really well. And it's all of my most used items. So my ATG, my foam tape, my tools, my inks, like this is everything I reach for every time. This cube, that's the top of a Santa hat. Sorry. This cube, I have some more stencils tucked in here. The bulk of my, well, really all of my thickers are in here. I would say all of my alphabets, but we'll see some more later. My smaller alphabets go somewhere else. My 8.5 by 11 anything goes here. So 8.5 by 11 cardstock, 8.5 by 11 specialty materials. I've cut fun foam. I've cut fun foam down to fit in there. And then I have like some smaller stencils. All right, so here, this is my current setup. Again, everything's in flux, but these are my stamps. This is the project I've been tackling. It's huge, and I'm still kind of in the middle of it. I still have to make my labels and my dividers. My goal is for them to both, like for all my stamps to fit into these 2 baskets. I don't know if that's going to happen since I still have all of those to add in, but we'll see. These boxes, I used to have my paper stored flat in these boxes, and then I would have the themed embellishments on top of it. And now I'm switching back to that vertical with the Creative Memories containers like I showed. So it's been a year and I've moved the bulk of my paper up there, but I'm still working on figuring out what to do with all the embellishments. So I have a box of embellishments to sort. I have a box with Disney stuff. This is all Disney stuff that I was racked by a very sweet friend. And then these boxes I've had for a long time, and they're kind of beat up, and I'm ready to replace them. But I haven't found anything that fits these as well as I'd like. So what's in here, and again, needs to be reorganized at some point. I have a bunch of these iris containers, these 4x6 photo keepers. And then I have all of my embellishments sorted into them. So they're really beat up. They need to be replaced. Haven't found a suitable replacement yet. I have more of the boxes that used to store my papers. Now I've got my wood stamps. I've got some photos in them. I like those uses for them. I've got more embellishments, and then I've got some papers that are left over still to sort. Also, this is the literally ugly underside of the Calyx desk combo thing. It's this huge hardware. I mean, that's a good 1.5 inches, 2 inches, and then this keeps going. So almost 3 inches of overhang. So I can't use the doors here because they can't open. I can't use the drawers unless I just, don't use the top drawer at all. So I haven't put any doors or anything on this entire row. And I guess it's okay, but it bothers me enough that I'm considering, hi random sock. It bothers me enough that I'm considering separating the desk from the shelf. They don't make these legs anymore that I've used. They don't make those curved legs. So I would have to get creative with my legs, but yeah, it's kind of annoying. And I think I like having doors and drawers just covering everything up. And if I switched to drawers, these do fit in the drawers, not as beautifully as they fit in these boxes, but they do fit in them fairly well. So I don't know, I'm still debating. All right, so under here is some stuff that I reach for quite a bit, but it's a little junkier, so I keep it under the desk. Those 2 binders are my sketch binders. I believe all of my printed sketches are Scrapbook Generation sketches, free. They're free downloads, but then also I've purchased some, and then I've torn apart the books, and I keep them in there by photo number. That's what works for me. I also have my silhouette. That is the same kind of little rack that I had in the cube above, but this is from the Dollar Tree, and it's like half the size. So I'm actually considering getting a couple more to use in other parts of the house because I just love that. And on top of that are 2 bags of markers and pens. It's hard to see, but there's a black one in the back that holds my not Copics. And then this fun bag here is a stand-up pencil case that a Peep made me. Thank you, Sarah. All right, bottom row. These are all drawers. And again, I love them for hiding messy. This drawer is full of anything that is a small alphabet. So I have my small alphabet stamps. These are actually stored in an ammo box from Cabela's. Small, tiny letter stickers. I also have quite a few chipboard and acetate letters. Basically, if it's kind of weird and it doesn't fit flat in a thicker packaging like my other alphabet stickers, it can go in here. And my ultimate goal is to someday not have any of these and just use stamps and dies. Like, just use tools to make what I need. But, you know, we'll see if that ever happens. All right, so the next one down here is we have punches. I actually have these in 3 rows across the bottom. Punches are obviously very, very heavy. So I wanted to keep them all relatively contained. Yeah, it's just these 3. But I wanted to keep them on the bottom since they're so heavy. I just didn't want to, I don't know that they would damage the drawers. They seem like very sturdy drawers, but just in case, I decided to put them all on the bottom. They're roughly sorted. These are border punches that are usually stacked prettier than that. These are more generic shapes and geometrics. Well, mostly. And these are more organic or themed shapes. Like I have butterflies and leaves and florals. I have a couple all over the page punches. So that's what all those are. This is very often opened as well. This is, again, right there by where I sit. It's just right there. This is my adhesive drawer. It's really kind of my everything tool, frequently used supply drawer. I've got some silhouette blades, some spray adhesive and canned air in my charger, and mostly though it's adhesive. Lagugon. All right, and then this area has just kind of like gone out of control. This was my mixed media area, and I mean it still is, but it's grown. There's more. There's like, yeah, there's a lot more. It used to all be contained in this one little drawer, and I don't even do that much mixed media. So how does that happen? I don't know. I see these products and I want to try them, and then I don't know if you can tell, the seal is still on that. I don't get around to using them enough like I should, but anyway. So mixed media is in here, glitter, some my sequin overflow if it didn't fit up there. I've got my twinkling H2Os, and my watercolors are just in a little art bin. My spray bottles. I used to keep like my Nuvo drops in here, but I don't use those anymore because I've had issues. Just, you know, user error issues, but still. All right, this is mixed media overflow. So these are all of my spray inks and my stickles, and then my distress ink pads. So I also have my ink blending foams and my ink blending tool. I'm frugal, and I don't like having, I guess, more things than I need. Okay, you can laugh. But I try not to have like duplicates or something. So I have those blending brushes, and it's a whole like conundrum for me. It really causes me angst because I also have my ink blending tool with the foams where I swap them out. Like a lot of people get these, they have one for every single color, and then they have an ink pad on it for just individual colors. And I just do color families. So I have a yellow, and I have a red, and I have a brown, and that's the only ones I have of those colors, and then I swap them out as I need them because I don't do it very often. But now I have that set of brushes, and if they do the same thing, I feel like I should get rid of one or the other. Welcome to my head. This drawer is all embossing stuff. Sorry, and a stamp positioner, because sometimes I would use that with embossing before I had my platform. See, another potential duplicate, except I did keep this because this is what would work for wood-mounted stamps. So anyway, embossing. So those are all my embossing powders. I have them flipped upside down so it's easy to see the color, because I don't find that the color on the top is always as accurate as the actual color. Like this color, it's hard to see in the light. It looks almost pink on top, but that's not pink. That's a red-orange, that kind of thing. This is just a little homemade embossing buddy. I already had like a real one, but I clogged up some of it with glue, and so I have like a little backup. So I have my lamps. They are great lamps. I love them. You can change the color temperature. You can change the brightness. They move around all different ways. They're awesome. I'll leave a link. And then this is my rig that I use for filming. This I got on a great clearance at Spellbinders. It's got a hard grid surface on one side, and then the other side is like, I don't know if you can tell, it's squishy foam. It's for piercing, and sometimes I'll stamp if I'm using stamps that need that foam give under them. This is my trimmer. It folds out to 12 by 12, so I do that when I need it. But since this is my work area, I save space most of the time by keeping it folded. All right, the last stop is my Raskog. You might notice it's missing. Oh, you might also notice the giant sequin mess. I had an accident right before I started filming, and then the little handheld vacuum died. So it is what it is. My Raskog, I took the wheels off, and that's so that it fits under my desk, because it fits perfectly, and it slides without any problem on the carpet. So I saved myself some inches and was still able to use my Raskog. Down here I have my cut apart cards. I have all my dies that are in my embossing folders that are waiting for me to go through them since I'm working my way through my stamps. My dies are next. Up here I have a couple Spellbinders card kits. They just fit inside this tray perfectly. Got these on uber clearance and I'm still working my way through them. Plus just some other crafty books that I'm using. All right, this top tray holds anything bulky that doesn't have a really good home otherwise. So I have my splat mat. It's like the Tim Holtz mixed media type mat. My Martha Stewart circle cutter. Paper crimper, because I've just never found a good substitute for a paper crimper, so I've had this forever. My envelope maker. I put my die cut plates. Oh, hello, mermaid stamp. I put my big die cut plates, like my other ones, in here. This is like my precision cutting plate, that type of thing. So, and it's nice because I have this nice deep storage. It's still pretty convenient because it's just right here. But it's also completely out of sight. I don't have to worry about it. All right, guys, so that is my scrappy area. I would love to hear how you do things the same or different, or if you think I'm just off my rocker for how I've done a few things. And if you like this video, please leave a comment, thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will see you all next week. All right, bye.